Hello everyone, this is Commander Trium, back once again with part 2 of tonight's extravaganza in the Elite universe, where we are assigned, as per every Wednesday, to our mentor and patron, Princess Aisling Duval. Hello.
Hello. Hold on.
Oh, come on, I want to tell you about my day. This was the day I was supposed to be hired into my new...
Switched over my headset.
Oh. Oh, hang on.
Okay, so what's going on?
So today I was supposed to be hired. I had a confirmation interview, except it wasn't a confirmation interview. It was a deconfirmation interview. I went to the interview. In the first 10 seconds, the client sizes me up and decides she doesn't want to have anything to do with me being part of her team. How do I know this? Because when we started the interview, formally, she started asking a bunch of technical questions, got into my background. She didn't like the way I looked, but she also then, inside the interview, exhibited behavior that seemed to indicate to me she was afraid of, she was being intimidated. Now, the recruiter who I ran into, she was just exiting a meeting with her, and on the way out. The way the recruiter interpreted it, she says, well, you had your bike helmet on and maybe she felt intimidated by that. Well, okay, yeah, maybe my bike helmet was intimidating. I don't see how that could possibly be relevant, but okay. But I took what she said about being intimidating to heart. When we got into the interview, what came across to me as being intimidating is the fact that I had a lot of programming experience, and she was trying to get very technical, not being a technical resource herself, on SharePoint. I don't think she knew a lot about SharePoint. She knew a lot. She had a lot of subject matter experience with SharePoint, beg your pardon, but she didn't have a lot of specific programming experience and didn't want to know anything about my programming abilities. She was very, very direct about my SharePoint experience. The trouble is she couldn't have had that knowledge and at the same time been a programmer, because a programmer wouldn't really care. A programmer understands that when you normally come into a situation like this, where you've been away from a technology for 7 years, that you might need a little bit of time to spin up. Well, she justified it saying, well, we really don't have time to spin up. And it's like, well, I learned C# in under a week and a half on the job. And during that week and a half, even on the first day, I had become productive. So not having 100% conversance with the technology on day one doesn't mean that you're somehow unproductive. Didn't agree with that. Didn't agree with a lot of other things. That she had a programming assistant who did seem to understand everything I was saying, agreed with a lot of it, got along with me very well, but he was clearly the junior partner in the interview scenario. What she was intimidated by, in my opinion, was my experience. I have 20 years programming experience. She has none. Next to none. She has a lot of SharePoint subject matter knowledge, which I value, definitely value. She knows the process. She knows the technology well enough to understand what types of things have to be done. Not particularly good at troubleshooting. She didn't have. She wanted me to demonstrate my troubleshooting skills. She didn't seem to agree with that either, even though it's a standardized way of approaching troubleshooting, and it's been very successful for me across the last 20 years. I think she was intimidated by the threat that I posed from a technology standpoint, and she wanted to be the project leader and saw me as being a possible threat to that position.
That's possible.
So she decided that she was not going to have me on her team. And that is, I'm trying very hard not to, well, I won't say anything. It's not appropriate, but I just didn't, I didn't enjoy being talked down to like that at all. And I didn't, and I thought it was a waste of time to have me come in there with that much experience. The recruiters had upsold the project quite a bit, and made me think that, oh, this was just going to be a simple confirmation, when it was anything but a simple confirmation. It was more about her interpretation of the technology. She doesn't understand the technology at all. She's not a technical person. She has a technology person there because she's not a technical person. So anyway, she was trying to be a technical person, and she didn't really have. She was intelligent, I'll give her that, but she didn't have the knowledge, and she still saw me as too great a threat to the project. So I won't be working on that team, but I have several other irons in the fire, and an additional one as of this afternoon. Coming out of that meeting, there was a phone call from another large consulting group here in the city. They want me for an intermediate level position that pays about $175 per day, less than what I normally will accept, but I'm getting desperate. I want work badly enough that I'll take lower rates of pay now. So I'm on board, although I'm taking the upper limit, the maximum level of pay for an intermediate developer. So anyway, might be nice actually just to have to perform to an intermediate level anyway for a little while. It's not quite as stressful as being. Well, once you're a senior, you're expected to, perform to a level of seniority. And although I can do that, and I've done it many times, it depends how you fit into the team a lot more too, right? So I found on projects where I started off being the intermediate like this, that over time I could grow into a senior role. And so we'll see how that goes. I'm still on with Canada Post Corporation, of course, and with a bunch of other organizations, just waiting to hear back. So I have other irons in the fire as well, but it's not a complete loss, but I'm still frustrated that I had this experience today, because I had to get up early, and I had to prepare, and I had to, get everything ready, and I spent some money trying to update my wardrobe a little bit, and it was all for naught. But money well spent all the same. I'll likely be able to avoid having to spend it the next time around when interviews continue in the weeks ahead. We're going into June, however. Month number 5, on the bench. And I'm told, by people, they're like, locally, they're like, oh, 5 months unemployment, that's not too bad. What? I'm not used to being 1 month unemployed. Last year, I don't think there was a single month I couldn't just get another contract when I wanted. This year is very, very different, but I'm going for more full-time permanent jobs now as well, so they tend to have a longer turnaround time. I say tend to because these government positions, they just love to interview you to a level as if you're going to I was just thinking I might have oversold myself because I didn't really catch on to this intimidation factor until after the interview was over.
Oh, it's possible.
I think that's got to be it because, you know, the conclusion of the recruiter was she felt intimidated as well. And she really didn't like me. Like her eyes glazed over when I gave her examples of the troubleshooting exercise I'd been through previously, solving serious problems that other engineers couldn't solve in half an hour, you know, across 2 years on one IIS server that wasn't working properly. It turned out to be MIME types, and I basically just reset the MIME types on the server and it worked fine. 2 years that server had been out of service, and I solved it in 30 minutes. I had another engineer sitting next to me, another intermediate at the time, and he didn't have anything to add. He just watched. So I don't know. I find the experience I'm going through incredibly frustrating. It's like the government of Canada just, you know. The thing is, there was just an item in on the nation's quote unquote natural news channel, CBC News World, about there being a culture of yes men formed within the bureaucracy, where people are too reluctant to come forward with. This is the Auditor General who's been tasked. It's an independent body of the government that basically assesses the government's performance. And he came out and he said that just this past week that there's been a culture of avoiding disagreements within the bureaucracy. So you never disagree with your boss. You don't tell them things they don't want to hear. So it's sort of, you've ended up with a culture of yes men. Everyone will always say, yes, I can do that. Yes, that's exactly the way it is. Never disagree, never propose a different perspective. And it's led to some very severe problems, such as the payroll system inside the government completely imploding, and technology projects failing like lock, stock, and barrel right across the bureaucracy. So it didn't appear that she had been aware of this latest comment by the Auditor General. I should have asked her during the interview. But it probably would have been interpreted as a form of criticism. Can't have that, of course. Especially from someone who's threatening to take your job away from you because they're that experienced. The last thing I want to do is become a project manager. I guess I would do it if I was forced to, but it's not where my strengths lie. I can probably lead a technology project independent of being hands-on with the technology, but I really want to be hands-on with the technology. Anyway, that was my day. How was your day?
Yeah, not very great.
No? What happened?
Fucking machines did. The one machine just kept fighting everything I wanted to do. Couldn't get my part sized out. The one tool wouldn't size out the way I wanted to, and I had it reprogrammed a few times. It's just being stubborn.
By the way, did you say that you guys use...
Waiting for 4 o'clock to go home.
Did you tell me that you use Python to program any of your code?
No, it's G&M code. It's not regular computer code.
No, but Python's very versatile. I mean, don't be surprised if you start seeing an encroachment by Python into your industry, because it's being used everywhere. You know where I found it most recently this week that I surprised the hell out of me was in Azure machine learning. Azure ML, the machine learning language for AI. And what surprises me about that is just that the AI code. AI is not something that you really code. It's supposed to be like a network that learns by making errors. You literally want, in an AI system, you want there to be errors so that the system learns, right? You return a error result, and the system knows not to do that again. And that's how it teaches itself to do things the right way. But it needs feedback from you, the user, to basically say, no, this isn't correct. And then it goes, oh, okay. Is this correct? No. Oh, okay. Is this correct? Yes. Oh, good. Okay, that's fine. Then I'll do it that way from now on. But it has to match all kinds of conditions and all kinds. It's for big data, you know, when you're trying to manage patterns of numbers that transcend many, many tables in a database and perform meaningful analytics on it. Anyway, just curious. Okay, so I'm here also. I noticed that you're at the the Aowica system.
Yeah, I'm turning in stuff for tomorrow, so I don't have to re-go my. That way I can keep my damn standing rank or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing as well. I have to go to. Hang on, I think I set a course already. It says access the galaxy map again to reestablish a route. We are going to jump to HIP 87638 from the. This is Yan Musu from the. I don't know what system this is. We'll find out in just a moment. The Nung K system. The Nungik system.
I'm now at 800 merits. Again.
Oh, and you're done.
Pretty much.
I'm 250 short. So, and I have my Anaconda, and I'm not getting my my big ship down here. It'll cost too much money. So I have to.
Go get some food. They're yelling at me to come eat. So
Mom and I are finishing.
I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay. Now leaving the sector for Yan Musu.
Thanks for choosing this facility.
Ship is disengaged from landing pad. Take care when leaving the station.
Landing gear retracted.
Yan Musu. engaged thrusters, and now we are engaging our main FSD, leaving Orion orbital.
All clear. Goodbye, Commander.
3, 2, 1. Now on course for Yanmusu. We are on course for Sutter Dock in this system, Yanmusu. We've had to pull a little bit of a stunt to slow ourselves down faster than normal, but it worked. Now headed for Yanmusu 3 and Sutter Dock in orbit.
Oh, I'm back for a bit.
Okay, so I found out I can actually increase my cargo capacity, my cargo carrying capacity by a factor of 2, and I might be able to actually squeeze in. Holy crap. I hope that's not what Earth ends up looking like after the Thargoids are done with it. One of these lava worlds. Wouldn't that be terrible? Like, you fly over Earth and you just see it's like... it's all cracked and filled with lava and magma pouring out all over the place. Completely uninhabitable. The atmosphere is turned to methane and ammonia or something.
I don't think you could do that to Earth very easily.
Well... After the big asteroid hit 65 million years ago, the one that killed the dinosaurs in the Yucatan Peninsula, the oceans turned purple apparently as a result of a chemical reaction that occurred from all the nuclear winter-like properties in the climate being spewed out by cracks in the magma. And apparently it was fairly heavy in hydrocarbons and not necessarily ammonia, but there were other chemicals.
It's all theoretical. They don't actually know.
Well, no,
A lot of times
you can't go there to find out, to test the theory for certain, but you do know, you can make a pretty educated guess because you're familiar with the chemical.
Access permitted. Please make your way to landing pad 25.
Hang on. Oh my god, I broke it. Hang on.
Don't shake it so hard then.
Automated docking sequence.
You know where it says danger, keep clear? I almost hit one of those.
This is a message to all commanders. Please reduce your speed when
Oh,
maneuvering your ship
congratulations.
inside the docking
You're
bay.
trying to hurt yourself.
Well, I've got good shields. It's everyone else I'm worried about. Welcome to Sutter Dock. We're in the Yanmusu system. Aisling Duval control system. Excellent. By the way, there's been some updates to her Trello.
To her what?
That Trello Yeah, you can get to it through the... I actually made a menu option under Pages on our website to let us to facilitate access to the Trello.
Okay.
So you can have a look at that whenever you have a moment. There's a material trader here. What's that?
I'm still trying to get all my computers straightened
Services
out
at the
again.
starport
Oh no.
are constantly being updated. Remember to visit every time
Would you like some
pass through the
boron?
system.
Huh?
Would you like some boron?
Sure, you got some?
3 units. You can use it in your laundry detergent. Wait a minute. There's ruthenium, but rhenium is not here.
PCBN works pretty good. Polycrystalline boron nitride.
This is a flight regulation.
Works really good for cutting harder material. Grain.
Ah, good. I have 13 rhenium as well.
I don't need none of that right now.
No. I've only ever been able to get it from the traders. I don't know where else to get it from.
One of these days I'm going to have to go do a bunch of mining and exploring and shit like that.
Yeah, well, let me know. I'm still up for it at some point.
Yeah. No, it's got to be a time when it's convenient, and that don't happen lately. It's summertime.
No, it's bad timing for it. Great time to be hired, though.
Oh, a new job is great for anyone who needs one.
Yeah, well, at some point I'll have one. I know that, but just don't know where it'll be or when, and I would like some answers.
My advice, go work in the private sector. Might be a little more job security or job accessibility.
Yeah, I do like the private sector generally more. Shouldn't say that publicly too loud, though. I mean, don't forget the public sector is the largest employer here in this city, so it's a little bit unusual that way. The government town. Outfitting.
How many of these potential employers of yours actually know that you play Elite and post videos and stuff on Facebook or on YouTube?
You know what? Microsoft knew somehow. They did research on me.
How many of these other employers are already doing a background check on you and checking your
yeah, my comments.
Yeah, all your online stuff and getting a unsavory opinion of you that way.
Well, they better not get too unsavory, because this is how, I mean, I'm not going to exhibit the pinnacle of professional conduct in a gaming scenario. Then it's going to be it's going to be a lot different, I can assure you, in the work environment.
Well, my line of work, it really doesn't matter what I do in my free time, but some higher end jobs I've heard do.
Yeah, they do take an interest, but they're not usually, like Microsoft didn't get too critical. They just said don't be talking about our development projects inside your blog, as I had done on one occasion. They kind of pulled me aside and said, look, you're going to have to delete this blog entry and don't do that again. So I did as I was asked. I complied. It wasn't really disciplinary, it was just advisory. I was considered a more junior resource at the time. They just wanted to exert the level of control that they desired over the advertisement of their product, and didn't want any back doors into competitor insights about how we delivered our e-commerce solutions at the time. And I understood that, and I still do. So anything trade related, I tend to avoid discussing. Anything in my own business that I wouldn't discuss publicly. I mean, I wouldn't discuss on a client's behalf either.
Yeah.
As long as you follow those rules, you're fairly safe. Unlike Roseanne Barr, who came out. I don't know about these people who just cannot control their Twitter Twitter outbursts. She blamed Ambien at one point, or not, maybe not blamed is the right word. Maybe it's too strong a word, but she said Ambien had caused her to err in judgment about, or to have a lapse in judgment about what ought to be said or what would be considered appropriate, by way of explanation. She said that didn't excuse her from what she said, which was very racist and unacceptable. But I don't know. There was one other person on CNN tonight, which of course is not exactly neutral bias. But they said that she may have been plotting to get herself canceled. Did you ever watch her show? No, I guess you wouldn't.
I saw the show Roseanne back in the day when I was a kid, when it was on TV. I didn't bother watching the new one.
Yeah.
No reason to. It wasn't that great in the first place, in my opinion.
No.
Not late at night when I had to stay awake until such and such time or whatever, I'd watch it.
Well, that's kind of my attitude. I mean, it dealt with everyday life, but in a very narrow context, I thought. I mean, 18 million people did take a look at it on ABC's dwindling viewership. I mean, all the major networks are experiencing a decline in viewership because of what's going on online and convergence.
It's because the younger generation, we can find our shit online a lot easier. Why pay $60 a month for something we can, for cable, when we can pay $60 a month for internet and have so much more available at our fingertips?
Yeah, precisely. I may have been just ahead of the curve in terms of age, but I've always wanted the ability to sort of watch when I want to watch, not when it comes on television.
That's why my wife's got Hulu and Amazon Prime and Netflix and God knows how many other things.
Oh, I got Chromecast now. My father mailed me Chromecast.
Landing gear.
For some reason.
Hopefully I have this game put back together. Thank God I went and I saved all my key bindings and everything.
Yeah.
That would have sucked if I had to sit and redo all them.
Yeah, I did. Well, when I told you when my drive failed, I just basically went into my old drive key bindings and copied the old drive's key bindings onto the even older drive's key bindings.
Yeah.
And everything worked out perfectly. So at least I can copy the configuration around. And now it's in two different places.
Yeah, I've got 2 hard drives here. I've got a external hard drive there I could hook up. So, I mean, I could have 2.5 terabytes easily hooked to my computer, but I don't need that much.
Well, I've got 5 with the USB drives, all attached and chained together through a giant hub.
I've maybe got 100 gigs worth of USB drives, but most of them are small, so my kids can use them for school or whatever.
Yeah. Well, thumb drives are best for that sort of thing.
I've got one that is a 16 gig, and that's got a copy of Windows 10 on it, so I can reinstall whenever I need to.
Well, there's that lovely little icon in Windows that lets you copy a bootable copy of Windows to a USB drive now.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
So I just need to get another USB drive, like a thumb drive, probably 32 gigs, and then
16 will be enough for that. That's what I've got.
yeah, but I've got a bunch of these 16ers around it. I don't know, they're not booting properly. I want a bootable USB drive, and my system just doesn't want to boot off the USB for some stupid reason. It's got something to do with the BIOS. It's just flaky as hell. I should probably pull the board and put a new board in. Hang on a second. I want to put in stored modules. Okay, so I've got what I need now are media power contact. There we are. I need her advertising materials.
I'm heading back to Cubale. I was reading a forum the other day, and it sounds like if you go to the Maya system to Darnielle's Progress, supposedly there's good cargo missions out of there hauling meta alloys all over the nearby systems.
Really?
That's what one of the forums was saying. Don't ask me which forum, because that was before my computer fucked up.
Yeah, I'll check it out, and if it's true, then I'll come down there. But I'm not gonna start chasing money the way I was doing a couple weeks ago, hoping on hope that I'm not being completely sold a bag of nonsense.
You see how often I run around at opportunity for money. I can sit and make money where I'm at all day long, or I can run around the galaxy for 3 days, not making money, trying to find money.
Yeah. Well, EDDB also started reporting errors. There was supposed to be resonating separators in one system that didn't in fact end up having any resonating separators.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
So I got kind of annoyed and tired of...
How exactly does EDDB get their information?
It's supposed to be using the Elite API query. There's an API that's available somehow through Frontier that lets you query the online data, but Frontier doesn't want everyone to have access to it, I guess, which makes sense. So they, instead of offering it to everyone, they offer it to a few whom they've negotiated with for permission. I gather no money changes hands, but the end result is that people hit one of the services, either Inara or EDDB, to get their data. That's what ED Discovery does. Okay, we're ready. We now have 192, so we have one more load after this, and then we'll be there. 696 merits. We need 750 to sustain level 3 standing and keep our prismatic drive available for another week.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing, is just keeping it available until I can buy a Class 7 and a Class 8.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
At that point in time, I might look at a few other ships that I might decide to get in the future, see what they would need.
And then put those in storage.
Yeah. But at this point in time, both my Eagles have prismatics. My Ass Explorer has a couple different prismatics I can put in there depending on my mood. Got one for my Python. I got 2 Class 6. As soon as I get a Class 7 or 8, that'll go into, probably end up getting put in here. I might have to get another Class 6. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I didn't devote this past week. I did not devote entirely to money making. I actually I went and got an engineer, Yuri Ishmak, is now in my engineering list. And he gave me access, actually, to 2 more engineers.
Yeah, there's a bunch I need to eventually work in unlocking, but I want to wait until I've got all these.
Holy crap!
That I want.
Sorry, this is a, there's an Imperial Cutter convention happening here. There's like 3 of them just entered the base I just left. That's really strange. Why would there suddenly be 3?
Are they players or?
No, none of them are players. They're all NPCs. I just don't know. The odds of that happening are not very good, but...
You've now exceeded the no fire zone. We hope you have a safe journey.
FSD charging. Now maximum output, flank speed. 4, 3, 2, 1, jumping this way. Got one more jump, and then we're at target.
Yeah, as soon as I drop into the station, I'm gonna go use the restroom and get another bowl of food.
Got it.
Frameshift drive charging.
FSD charge, medium security.
Yesterday, I'd been able to actually log in and play Defiance for a while. I tried to log in tonight. I thought this was probably his comment tonight. That game's been having problems for a while. I think they got some basic issues they need to work out. They're trying to hold off till they got their new Defiance game out, so I can justify this game's down to do some major fixing.
Fuel sweeping.
Request dock.
Headed for a Rye orbital.
Disengaged.
What the fuck?
Thrusters engaged.
Request dock. Request dock. Okay, I'll be back shortly.
Alright.
Full authorization. Submit
You're on the
requests
deck. Engaging
before
docking
entering
straight.
the domain.
Enjoy your stay at our facility, Commander.
This facility offers a range of services. Check your information panel after docking for more details. For the safety of all visitors, be considerate of other vessels while passing through the main access corridor.
Greetings, all visitors. Please alight as your assigned flight. Thanks for choosing this facility.
Detachment confirmed. Depart safely from the station.
We advise that the commanders maintain their speed. Thank you for your cooperation.
Now comply. Landing gear retracted. Cargo scoop retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
All clear. Goodbye, Commander.
lost our wingman by the looks of it.
Scan detected. Call unsuccessful. Landing gear deployed.
You're on the deck. Engaging docking restraints. Welcome to the station, Commander.
Uh, 750, so 100 merit should be it. Close enough. That'll be 756, and we need 750 in order to qualify. No, I think we'll be good with that.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoop disengaged. unsuccessful.
Welcome all commanders to this facility. Please ensure you complete all docking procedures within the allocated time. To remind all commanders to avoid block. Proceed to dock on your assigned docking pad in a timely manner, and refrain from obstructing other docking areas. Aggression will be met with an appropriate response.
Well, I guess we should plot a course back to our home territory for the moment, which we will now arrange to do, having completed our needed objectives for this particular week. We are going to report back to the... Actually, we'll head for Sol. I don't know where our engineer is in the Sol system. We're going to look that up right now. Ah, Saturn 5. Saturn 6. 3, 6. Iapetus. Is it Decker's Yard? I think we'll head back there right away. We've not yet been to Sol with the Anaconda, so...
We would like to welcome all commanders to this facility. Please ensure you complete all docking procedures.
Plus, for the update, I think I would like to be in the solar system in case the Thargoids arrive. If they do, I'll be throwing myself at the Cyberdoids in defense of the Terran
Take care
system,
when leaving the station.
Landing gear retracted.
defending the birthplace of humanity and the capital of the Federation.
In order to keep me in check.
7 jumps, eh? And the last one is going to be the second last one. Goes through Lot 83, which is a known white dwarf star point.
Frameshift drive charging.
Here we go.
Frameshift drive charging. Downshift drive charging. Fuel scoop disengaged. Fuel scooping. safety limits. Frameshift drive charging.
City of Winnipeg has its lights on. Edmonton, Calgary, Jasper. Aligning with defense profile. In Earth orbit.
Flight assist on. Under attack. Target shields offline. Target destroyed. Target shields offline. Friendship charge detected. Target destroyed.
Hey,
Hello.
sorry, I'm just in the middle of combat here. Actually, I didn't find any Sargoids, but I did find some level 4 pirate threats. So I neutralized them and blew them apart.
Programming limit.
Yeah, I've been hunting down engineers, just trying to finish it off.
Programming limit.
Access.
Yeah, I'm decided that I was going to end today's gaming session at Sol, because tonight's the update, and I'm worried that the Sargoids might take a run into the Sol system. I'm standing by here. I'm standing by here ready to defend if there's a surprise attack.
I'm out and looking at Tacking, I guess is his name.
Yeah, what were you doing? Hang on here. You're like far out there.
Yeah, I have to carry a bunch of. He asks for Fujin tea, and it's about 150 light year difference between where he is and where he asks it, and he wants 50 tons of it, but you can only buy 5 at a time or 15 at a time, so you have to make like 4 trips.
Oh God. And you can't just like reload or anything like that. It detects if you're carrying tea.
Yes, it detects it. And so I've tried to leave and come back, and nope, it still doesn't give it to you. So you just basically got to go deliver it and then come back 4 times.
Oh, that's lame.
I mean, I'm actually in my Anaconda, and I could carry the whole load all at once, but they don't let you.
Yeah. No, I finished off, I was working tonight on getting ready for the update, so I wanted another week with the prismatic shield. I got a nice tiny prismatic shield running on my Anaconda, which lets it jump nearly 40 light years straight off. So I'm at 36 light years right now, I think. But anyway, I like having the distance, being able to just take this thing wherever I need to be. Its weapons are stupid. Like the pulse laser I have a gimbal pulse class 4 pulse laser, and that thing when it freaking cuts into an Eagle or a lower class ship, it just slices right through it.
Yeah, I've got I'm running a. Let's see, I've got it pretty much engineered. I'm at 36.5 full.
Oh, really?
Jump range, yeah.
And it's fully engineered.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not running it light. I'm running it heavy, so it's not like I've optimized it for long jump range.
Okay. Well, I've kind of optimized mine for the best jump range I can get at the moment, but that isn't saying a lot because I can't do very much. I've only got an 8D power plant, first of all. The 8A power plant, as you're well aware, is like over 100 million credits, so I'll have to save my shekels to buy that one. But I'm in orbit of Earth right now, so far. It looks perfectly vulnerable, but it's... I could have sworn they've changed the map of this thing a little bit. Like, it's almost as if they're getting ready for something, you know? Like, they're introducing... Because the contours... I don't know if they're...
Something significant tonight, huh?
Well, I don't know. They're gonna do something, I'm pretty sure, to stir up the pot a little bit in the very near future.
They were going to attack the engineers. Like they were going to make it so that maybe the Thargoids would attack the engineers, and that's why they gave everyone a chance to use them cheaply this last weekend.
Maybe. That's an interesting theory, actually. That might be true. But Earth itself, like just looking at the map, the map is not as green as I remember it being. It was a lot greener before. And now it's greenish, but it's as if they've changed the texture that is on the surface. And it seems like even though I'm in orbit of the planet, I'm further away from it than I was the last time I was in orbit of it.
Right. Well, you know, if you look at the star maps of where the Thargoids have been, they're around the Earth area, but there's 2 different areas where they're constantly attacking, and neither one of them, you know, from system to system, the areas they're going to attack don't lead to Earth.
No.
If you follow like across time where they're going, they're not. It doesn't look like they're heading towards Earth. They're just sort of randomly in these certain areas.
Well, except yeah, I know, but except humans have been responsible for trying to genocide their species. They can't be happy about that. I wouldn't be. The Thargoids have tried to genocide humanity with some sort of neurolytic pathogen, I would have been like, okay, let's go blow up the Thargoids. But that didn't happen, and it happened in the other order, in reverse. And
they seem to say that it's also that they were going after the, what's that group of people, the INRA or the Aegis or whoever that group of people is.
Yeah.
Part of was responsible for it. So maybe they're not necessarily going to Seoul, but going towards those guys.
Well, but the Federation has its capital. It's not on Earth; it's on Mars now. But big deal. So even if they blow up even if they nuke Olympus Village from orbit, that would still be an attack on the solar system, and it still wouldn't be acceptable. Like, I still want to be here to defend it, just in case.
Well, see, I don't think they're going to actually do any planetary attack stuff until they bring out the next,
generation of ships.
Well, no, I mean the big, not just these, mid updates, not 3.1 or anything like that. They're going to have to go up to a major update to do that kind of thing.
4.0.
Yeah.
Well, we are looking at the Thargoids having base ships on planets, because those barnacles we know what they're used for.
Yeah.
That we know what they're used for. They're construction materials. They convert ordinary elements into Thargoid usable technology, and then all of a sudden we see barnacles and we see Thargoid bases near one another on planet surfaces, and there's a little ammonia atmosphere around the Thargoid base. No, we can't breathe it, but they sure can, and so can their sentinels, which totally ignore us unless we bring Guardian technology into it. And then they get all pissed off. But the bottom line is that at some point we're going to see those base ships probably launch themselves off the surface. And when that happens, holy crap. I don't know how many, if it'll even be possible for ordinary elite ships to take those things out. I doubt it. You can't take out a Farragut with ordinary ships. You need, even capital ships can't take each other out, it seems. The Empire and the Federation, whenever we've seen those battles, one or the other leaves the scene, removes their august presence from the battlefield before the ship is blown to pieces.
Well, they've had all these giant mega ships in dry dock. I've seen them around in some bases.
Yeah, Cubeo has a couple of majestic battleships there.
Maybe they'll do a set piece like a battle in which those big ships all fight each other, and we just play a small part around them with the small ships. We don't actually fight the big ship kind of thing, but we watch it while we're fighting the small ones.
Well, except that they aren't. Frontier seems to be pushing more the idea of the players guiding the story, because they got rid of Drew Wagar. He's not writing for Frontier anymore. And although they honor the legacy that he helped create with Salome and that whole story last year, this year, I don't know. I think it's going to be player-driven a lot more. We're seeing player factions taking over star bases, planets, factions, forming minor factions. Now there'll be fleet carriers and squadrons in the next, well, certainly by Chapter 4, by the end of the year. As for atmospheric planets, I don't know. There's something about the texture of Earth here that's different, I've noticed, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't think so, but it looks different to me. Maybe my settings are different.
Yeah, I haven't been to Seoul in a long time. I've got an Eagle parked at what's a base outside the moon, but other than that, I haven't been there in forever.
Yeah. Well, this is
I think it's at Galileo.
This is the first time I've been to Seoul in a long time, but there's a new engineer here. He's on the Saturn's moon Iapetus.
Oh, okay.
And so I was going to go check him out. He wants me to start delivering combat bonds, so I was also going to look through the Sol system to see if I couldn't find any conflict zones. I don't think there are any, but... What's that?
Which engineer is that?
Colonel Decker, or Colonel Becker, or whatever the hell his name is.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
He's on the Iapetus. So, he's the only engineer in the Sol system.
What does he engineer?
What's that?
I've seen him before, but I don't remember what he engineers.
Just give me a second. I'm increasing to FSD. Oh. Hang on. My video cut out just as I went to FSD, making life very, very annoying. I'm approaching capital ship in orbit of Earth. One moment. And then I'll check the engineers. I want to be near this capital ship in case of a Thargoid attack. $3,000 kilometers. 2,500, 2,000 kilometers. 1,500 kilometers. And 1,000, slowing to sublight. Farragut class capital ship on screen. Stand by. And this is the FNS Trander. FNS Stalker was taken off duty and cycled out. They replaced it with on-station FNS Trander. I am over New Zealand at the moment. Now taking up formation alongside FNS Trander.
The Earth updated with actual like weather satellite pictures, so you could get an actual weather like view.
Well, there are clouds and there's hurricanes and things going on.
Yeah, but I mean it's not like what the real current weather is.
Oh well, you wouldn't want that anyway. It's supposed to be over 1,000 years in the future. Let's see here. Oh, piss off with the cargo scoop. Here's our engineers list. So it's Colonel Brisdecker. He's an expert in FSD interdictors and frameshift drives, according to this. He's aligned with the Federation. He wants 1 million combat bonds.
How high does he go on the FSD? Only 3?
Not clear. I can't see from here. You'd have to look on Inara. Inara will have the breakdown on him. The other one I got as a result of Yuri Ishmak taking him up to level 5 was the Sarge. The Sarge is specializations with limpets and cannons, Beta 3 Tuscany. I gather that's a Federation shipyard.
I've used him for cannons.
Yeah, and I'll probably have to go see him at some point. He wants 50 units of aberrant shield pattern analyses. And I have not...
I had to do that before we were traders. That was a pain.
I'm not sure if I have that in inventory. Let me just see here. Data. Oh yeah, I've got 18 of them right here. So I'll have to get...
I unlocked almost all the engineers before there was traders, so by the time the traders came along, I was like, well, oh well. Too late now.
Found by scanning, ships or mission rewards can be traded in encoded material traders in high security, populated systems, high-tech military economies, materials used by engineers in building upgrades. So it'll take a while to get that done. But the combat bonds, not so much, because those Thargoid pod ships or scouts are around all over the place, and it's a fairly straightforward endeavor, I think, to get a million in combat bonds. I'll just have to kill about 100 of those scouts, and you're on your way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, that's it for me for tonight. So I'm gonna let you go.
All right. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, everyone. That's going to be it for tonight. This is Commander Trium in Earth orbit, signing off. But once again, suggesting you check the video properties for links to our Twitter account and Commander Trium's blog site, where there's all kinds of news, views, and other elite relevant information. If you liked tonight's video, please click like in the YouTube interface, or subscribe, and again in the YouTube interface. To the right of the subscribe button in the standard YouTube interface is, of course, the bell icon, which will update your Google Chrome, allowing it to present a notice every time that there is a live session starting when I'm logged in. Choose to watch instead of participating directly in-game. Or you can wait until the archive media is readied by YouTube and presented again. A notice will appear when that happens if you click the bell icon to the right of the subscribe button in the YouTube standard interface. Thanks once again for watching. Your viewership is, as always, very greatly valued. This has been Commander Trium. I gather it's now May 31st at 03:34:29 Zulu. And I'm Commander Trium now, signing off. Bye for now.